Welcome to Daily Review, your daily dose of literary exploration. We dive into books that spark curiosity and ignite growth. While our passion often leads us to nonfiction reads that empower and improve your life, no book is off limits. From gripping thrillers to insightful memoirs and compelling fiction to historical accounts, we're here to share and discuss all the interesting reads we discover. So, tune in for your next great book idea. Today, we are diving into a concept that is a total game changer. It's called Blue Ocean Strategy, and it's all about how to make your competition completely irrelevant.
And this quote from the book by W. Chan Kim and Renee Mauborgne, it just nails it. It really captures the entire idea in one sentence. The goal here isn't to be a little bit better than the next guy. It's to change the game so profoundly that comparing yourself to them becomes, well, totally pointless. It's a huge shift in how we think about strategy.
So to really get what a blue ocean is, we first have to talk about its opposite, the red ocean. The authors use this term to describe the brutal reality for most businesses out there today. And it's a world that, honestly, most of us know all too well.
Yeah, this is the red ocean. You can just picture it, right? It's like a shark tank. The market is packed, and everybody is viciously fighting over the exact same customers. As the fighting gets more intense, the water gets bloodier, profits start to shrink, and everything just becomes a race to the bottom on price. Your whole strategy is just beat the other guy.
And this is the question that flips everything on its head. What if, instead of trying to win the fight, you just left the fight entirely? What if you found a new place to play? This simple question is the pivot point that leads us away from all that red and into the blue.
And that brings us to the escape hatch, the powerful alternative, the blue ocean. This isn't just a slightly different market. No, this is a whole new market space, one that you create, you define, and because you're the first one there, you dominate. It's clear, it's open, and it's just full of potential.
You can see the difference so clearly here. On one side, in the red ocean, you're just fighting over the demand that's already there. But over here, in the blue ocean, you're actually creating new demand. And this leads to maybe the most important point of all. You break the value-cost trade-off. You're no longer forced to choose between offering more value or having a lower cost. The goal is to get both. And the results? Well, they really speak for themselves. Get this. A study looked at 108 business launches and found something pretty staggering. While the blue ocean launches only made up about 14% of the total, they generated a whopping 61% of the total profits. That's insane. It just proves that while it might feel risky to create a whole new market, the payoff can be absolutely massive. Okay, so the big question is, how do you actually do this? How do you find or create a blue ocean? Well, the engine that powers this whole escape is a concept the authors call value innovation. This is the secret sauce. This is the core mechanism that makes it all happen.
So, value innovation isn't just about tweaking something or making a small improvement. It's about creating something that is both way better and cheaper to produce. It completely shatters that old business school rule that you have to choose, either create more value for your customers and charge more, or offer less value for a lower cost. The goal here is to do both at the same time.
And I absolutely love this formula because it makes the whole concept so simple and powerful. You're pushing value for the customer way up, while at the same time, you're actively driving your costs down. That's the magic combination. That's how you create an offering that is so unique and so valuable that it's truly in a league of its own.
Okay, so this all sounds fantastic in theory, right? But how do we actually apply it? Well, the good news is the authors don't just leave us with the theory. They give us a practical framework, a set of tools that makes creating blue oceans a systematic process, not just some random stroke of luck or genius.
And here it is. This is the 4 actions framework, and it is just brilliant. It's all about asking 4 simple but game-changing questions about your industry. What can you eliminate completely? What can you reduce way down? On the flip side, what can you raise way up? And finally, what can you create that no one has ever offered before? These questions force you to rethink everything. Now, to really see this in action, let's look at probably the most famous example from the book, Cirque du Soleil. They didn't just try to make a better circus. No, they completely reinvented what a circus could even be.
And in doing so, they attracted this whole new audience of adults and theatergoers who would have never set foot in a traditional circus.
And this grid shows you exactly how they did it using that framework. Look at this. They eliminated some of the most expensive and controversial parts, like the animal shows and the star performers. Then they raised the production value with things like a unique, sophisticated venue. And then they created totally new elements borrowed from theater and ballet, like a unifying theme, artistic music, and elegant dance. They changed the entire equation.
So after you use that 4 actions framework, you've basically designed a new strategy. But how do you see it? How do you visualize just how different it is? That's where the next tool comes in. It's called the strategy canvas.
So before Cirque du Soleil, if you mapped out the traditional circus industry, you'd see a perfect picture of a red ocean. All the big names, like Ringling Brothers and others, their strategy curves would basically be right on top of each other. They were all competing on the exact same things: more daring acts, funnier clowns, more exotic animals. It was a tangled mess.
But then, you plot Cirque du Soleil's curve on that same graph, and bam! It just looks completely different. It zigs where everyone else zags. It shows a huge focus on a totally new set of factors, like artistic music and a refined environment, while showing they've completely eliminated those old industry staples. That clear visual divergence, that's the sign of a blue ocean strategy.
And when you look at that new curve, it should always have these 3 qualities. First, focus. It's not trying to be everything to everyone. Second, divergence. The shape of its value curve is radically different from the competition. And third, it has a compelling tagline. The strategy is so clear you can explain it in a simple, catchy phrase, like a circus reinvented.
And that really brings us to the final and I think most important thought. This whole framework isn't just for huge companies like Cirque du Soleil. It's a way of thinking for anyone, in any industry. It's about asking yourself, what are the unspoken rules in my world? What factors does everyone just take for granted and assume are essential? The answer to that question, that's where you'll find your blue ocean. Thank you so much for tuning into Daily Review. We truly appreciate you joining us for your daily dose of literary exploration. Your support means the world to us and helps us continue to share these amazing books with you. If you're enjoying what you hear, please consider taking a moment to subscribe, rate, like, and comment on any of the platforms you're listening from. This really helps support our channel and allows us to get better and bring you even more great content. And if today's review sparked your interest and you're ready to dive into a copy of the book, please consider using the link in our description to make your purchase. Not only does it make it easy for you to get your hands on the book, but it also directly supports our channel and the author, allowing us to keep bringing you more great content. Thanks again for being a part of the Daily Review community.